Howdy folks, what's growing? So in this video we're going to be grafting a dragonfruit plant onto a rootstock which is not of a dragonfruit plant. So as you can see, the rootstock belongs to some different cactus which is not a dragonfruit obviously, and we have crafted this little scion of a dragonfruit plant. It is from the variety of the black African dragonfruit. So let's see how it goes, and we'll also have some updates of the other graft I have done a few months ago. So we'll also see those. So let's get started. It's getting hot in here. Now coming to the rootstock that we have this cactus lying around in a garden for a couple of years. This kind of looks good, but let's make some good use of it. Now coming to our scion, this is our scion. It's a pretty small scion, and it has also some roots onto it because it was in the ground. So we're gonna be trying with this scion only. Now the reason we have this scion is quite of a story of itself, because recently I got this dragon fruit from a nursery, but during the transportation the bad graft just broke away and we have this small little plant. So I thought I'll divide the scion into two parts. We'll have the graft that we have initially, and I'll also cut the tip to make another scion out of it. I'll give you a small rundown of the equipment that we're gonna need. We're gonna be needing alcohol-based sanitizer with some grafting tape and an adhesive tape of micropore. This is the generic that you use of the surgeries and all those things. It's completely sterile, so it's the best thing to use for your graft. And we'll have some scissors in the plate in case we need some finer cuts, and obviously the scissor. So yeah, that's it. Now the main challenge we'll face in this craft is the rootstock is quite fat than the scion that we have. So we have to very carefully cut just the tip of the rootstock. And we also need to make sure that the callus that we expose, it's not too much for the scion that we have, because the diameter of the scion is pretty low. Now shortly we're gonna be also cutting the scion, and post cutting it I've also cleaned my scissors and the scion itself. So I'm gonna be taking this scion and cut it. We have a proper callus in the scion as well, and we don't need to reshape it. Now let's put it into the rootstock. It's gonna be a very careful thing because you need to align them together in the center if it's possible. So that's the best thing that we can do. Now I'm gonna carefully align it. Let's do it. And it should be sticky enough that it just stays like this. And if it's too dry, then I'm sorry, you have to redo it again with a fresh cut. Now I'm going to be taking my micropore bandage and be applying that onto each of the three sides of the entire graft that we have very carefully. And we also need to maintain a proper pressure so that the rootstock and the scion maintains a good contact along with a good pressure, so the graft would be successful. Apart from the adhesive sterile micropore tape, we're going to be also using some grafting tape. This is a generic plastic grafting tape that we have to cover the entire area of the graft, and a small portion I would keep to wrap around on the top just to maintain a little bit more pressure, and just tape around that with the micropore tape. Now that we have, and that's our entire graft, which is complete now. Now let's quickly revisit the grafts that I have done previously. So this one is also for the same type of graft, which is a different cactus species with the dragon fruit, and this one is a variety of the red dragon fruit grafted up on the the opposite. And this is the update on that. We can see some growth bud has been there for the different species graft that we have done, and it is growing pretty nicely. And after a few months, maybe 4 or 5 months, we have a really big dragon fruit sapling that is growing out from the grafted area, and it is trying to cling onto the wall, which is pretty amazing if I say. There has been some breakage on the graft point because yeah, I couldn't do the perfect graft on this, but yeah, it's growing pretty nicely, I would say. Now with this one, I wanted to show you how a perfect graft looks like. So this is the ideal scenario in which your graft will be amazingly done. In this case, the rootstock and the scion has almost the same dimensions and the same number of ridges, so the graft is really strong over here. So try to pick up something like this for both the rootstock and the scion, and you'll be amazed to see the results of such a perfect graft. From the broken part of the graft that I bought, so I tried to regraft it into the other plant. even though it is not perfect, I mean it is far from perfect, there are multiple air gaps in there, you can see, and there is a very minimal area of callus contact, but still it survived, and you can see there is a small growth bud in there as well, which is quite of a success to us. So cheers, we have two different plants of black. Now I would put my jargon in here, so if you love the video and love the content and the updates, and you want to see updates on the craft that we have done, so please consider subscribing and liking this video. I'll see you next time. Bye.